Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. I am Salman, your course instructor. Welcome to the course of Animal Form and Functions, Department of Zoology. This is your lecture number 13 and the topic is temperature regulation in vertebrates. In this lecture, we will discuss various adaptations of fishes to different water temperatures, the adaptations of amphibians and reptiles to their changing environmental temperature, and the concepts of thermoregulation in birds and mammals finally. This lecture will help the students in understanding how various physiological and behavioral adaptations assist vertebrates in facing fluctuating environmental temperatures. First of all, temperature regulation and its impacts. Temperature regulation, which is also known as thermoregulation, is defined as the maintaining of a relatively constant internal body temperature regardless of the changes in the temperature of the surrounding environment. This ability of thermoregulation is crucial to life and survival of higher animals. Even some evolutionary biologists believe that temperature regulation is one of the reasons of the evolutionary success of higher animals. Temperature regulation consists of the coordination of multiple body systems like endocrine system, the respiratory system, the circulatory system of the higher animal bodies. The warm internal temperature is beneficial for metabolism. Increasing the temperature will increase the rate of metabolism of any body up to a certain limit. This limit is known as temperature optima. Temperature optima is actually that specific temperature at which the body functions at its best. Above the temperature optima, the enzyme begins to denature. Which is the reason for the declining metabolic rate at above temperature optima temperatures. Now, temperature regulation in fishes. Fishes are mostly ectotherms. Now, what does it mean to be an ectotherm? It means that the internal body temperature of the fish body will be determined by the temperature of the surrounding water. Fish living in the cold body will tend to have colder body temperature, while the fish living in the hotter water bodies will tend to have a hotter body temperature. Now let's have a look at the adaptations of some fishes which survive in super cold water bodies. Fishes living in colder water bodies have antifreeze material in their bodies. These are polyalcohols like sorbitol or glycerol. Sorbitol is actually the alcohol of glucose. Water-soluble peptides and some glycopeptides are present. These anti-freezing material prevent the blood of the fish from freezing at freezing temperatures, that is, the normal freezing temperature is 0 degrees Celsius. So with the help of these anti-freezing material, the fish blood will not freeze at 0 degrees Celsius. Together with these, fish body also have some protein and protein sugar compounds which inhibit ice crystal formation in the surrounding water of the fish. These characteristics help the fish to survive in cold water bodies which have the temperature below 0 degrees Celsius. Now, adaptation of some ectofishes like bluefin tuna and great white shark. These fishes actually keep their core body temperature significantly high as compared to the environmental temperature. Some of the physiological adaptations in attaining this character is the skin. The major blood vessels pass just under the skin and they deliver the blood to their core body only through smaller vessels. These smaller vessels make network in which exchange of heat takes place. This is known as retimerable, a counter-current heat exchanger. The heat from the venous blood, which is warmer and passing out of the body, transfer the heat to the arterial blood, which is colder and passing into the body. As you can see in this diagram, this is the cross section of the fish body. You can see a gradual increase in the body temperature when we come from the outer to the inside of the body. You can see that the innermost muscle, these are known as red muscles. These red muscles contract and help the fish in swimming. The highest temperature of the fish body is found in that of red muscles. This is retimerable. The blue color vessels are actually veins. They contain the warmer venous blood, and the red or pink color vessels are arteries. They contain the colder blood. So the heat is transferred, the arrows are showing the heat is transferred from the venous blood to the arterial blood. So in this way, the heat generated by the contraction of red muscles is not lost and is exchanged from the venous blood to the arterial blood in retimerable. And in this way, the red muscles, which are vigorously active due to this warmth, they are 4 times more powerful as compared to the colder muscles. And efficient swimming and predation is allowed to fishes with more powerful contractions of the warmer red muscles. Now, temperature regulation in amphibians and reptiles. Most of the amphibians and reptiles are ectotherms. Ectotherms have been defined earlier. They face marked daily and seasonal temperature changes. Amphibians especially have difficulty in controlling body heat because very minute amount of body heat is produced through the metabolic activities of the amphibians, and it lost most of the internally produced body heat because of the evaporative cooling. The amphibian body is actually humid because the humid body will help in the cutaneous respiration, which is one form of respiration very common in amphibians, in which the respiratory gases like carbon dioxide and oxygen take place through the skin of the amphibians. So it is very difficult for amphibians to control their body temperature. Some of the behavioral adaptations which help the amphibians in keeping the constant body temperature are evaporative cooling. Evaporative cooling means the cooling of the body, the release of the body heat through the evaporation through the general surface of the body. Hibernation and estivation. Hibernation and estivation both are actually the dormant phases, the inactive phases, but there is a difference. Hibernation is commonly known as winter sleep, whereas estivation is a summer sleep. Hibernation is actually the adaptation to avoid the extreme coldness of the winter season, whereas estivation is the adaptation, a behavioral adaptation to with the extreme hotness of the summer season. Bullfrog is an example of amphibian which regulate evaporative cooling by controlling amount of mucus secretion. Now, reptiles, unlike amphibians, have dry skin which reduce the evaporative cooling through the general body surface. They are completely ectothermic. It means that the internal body temperature changes with the fluctuation in external temperature of the environment. They conserve heat by keeping the blood in center of the body. It is very common in the diving turtles and sea snakes. Similarly, they can increase heat production by the synthesis of thyroxine and epinephrine, which are actually the hormones for the increase in metabolic rate of the body. Both of these characteristics are attributed to mammals, but they were first found in reptiles and then evolved in mammals. Now, behavioral adaptations of reptiles, that is salivation and frothing. Salivation and frothing are almost the same thing. Frothing is actually defined as the flowing out of the fluid bubbles from the mouth of reptiles. You can see in this diagram, it is actually the frothing of the reptiles. Urination, some reptiles are known to urinate on their back legs. Similarly, moistening the eyes to release body heat, and panting. Panting behavior is actually the release of heat from the some internal body surface, like that of tongue. Panting is common not only in reptiles but in mammals and birds also. Now, temperature regulation in mammals and birds. Both mammals and birds are homothermic endotherms. Endotherm means that they produce the major portion of their body heat from their internal body activities, that is the metabolic activities. And homotherms mean that they maintain a relatively constant internal body temperature. Different mammals and birds have their body temperature ranging from 35 to 42 degrees Celsius, like human have about 37 degrees Celsius body temperature. They are the most active of all the vertebrates, and behaviorally they are very complex. They can live because of their wide range of adaptation in all habitats all over the earth. Some of the cooling mechanisms in birds are bird panting and gular flutter. Panting have been discussed just a bit earlier. Gular is actually a sac-like structure or pouch-like structure which is hairless and extremely vascularized. It is found between the lower mandible and the neck region of the birds. This gular region is capable of vibration. When it vibrates, it releases the body heat. This phenomena of vibration of the gular sac is known as gular flutter. You can see this bird with gular fluttering, and this gular fluttering helps to drive air across the moist areas of the buccal cavity, so helping in releasing the body heat in summer season. Heat retaining mechanism in birds. Feathers. Feathers are excellent insulators, especially the down type feathers. They trap the layer of air next to the body and reduce heat loss from the skin. Similarly, some aquatic species may lose their body heat through their legs, so rete mirabile is present in the aquatic species of in the legs of the aquatic species of birds, as you can see in the diagram. Here the student should note the difference between the rete mirabile of the fishes and this bird. In fishes, the heat is transferred from the venous blood to the arterial blood, while in rete mirabile of birds, the heat is transferred from the arterial blood to the venous blood. So they are opposite of each other. Cooling mechanisms in mammals. The mammals residing in the hotter environments may reduce their body heat through sweat glands. By producing sweat, they actually release the body heat. Panting, which is common in dogs and canines. Similarly, some of the animals have different structural adaptations, like the jackrabbit, which is found in the hot regions, have large ears, and through these large ears, they actually reduce their body heat. Some heat retaining mechanism in mammals. Exchange vessels are found in the Arctic fogs and barren ground. Caribou. Blubber in marine animals like seals and whales. Blubber is a thick layer of fats, insulating layer, which is present just beneath the skin of the sea mammals, the marine mammals like seals and whales. With the help of this insulating blubber, the mammals can retain their body temperature from 36 to 38 degrees Celsius. The blubber is absent in flippers and tail of these marine mammals. So a countercurrent system just like retimirabile is present in the flipper and tail of these marine mammals. Some of the behavioral mechanisms in birds and mammals. Like ectotherms, they sun themselves in colder region or in winter season, and they can seek shade in summer or hotter region to avoid excessive heat. Many animals huddle to keep warm. You must have observed this behavior in the birds at your home, like the hens do. They come closer together to avoid the excessive coldness in winter seasons, especially at night. Others share burrows for protection from temperature extremes. This behavior is found in mammals during the summer season, like the rabbits, etc., and many other rodents. Similarly, the birds and mammals may migrate to warm climates. You must have studied in the migration of birds. Another thing is hibernation, which enable birds and mammals to survive harsh winter. If a bird or mammal cannot survive the extremes of the environment, extremes of the climate, they may hibernate. Now these are the references: Miller and Harley 6th edition and Campbell 10th edition. Both of books are available for the students in soft form. Thank you so much. The student may ask any question through the WhatsApp group or through the media cell of the CUST. I will encourage that. Thank you so much. Jazakallah.